Scentland, the land of scent. Hello and welcome, it's Chris here, and today I invite you to join me to take a closer look at the art and the fashion and the fragrances of the late great genius Gianfranco Ferre. Okay, Gianfranco Ferre, the architect of fashion. That was his nickname, okay? And to me, Gianfranco Ferre is a member of the silent giants of fashion. Okay, I call them, there's three people, silent giants of fashion. Because we know all the flamboyant figures, okay, from Karl Lagerfeld, Gianni Versace, John Galliano, Valentino, Alexander McQueen, and so on, and so on, and so on. That are or were very flamboyant. Everybody knows them, you know. But there are three people that I consider as my special kind of category that I've created that are tremendous giants of their art and fashion, global fashion, yet they're less out there in the spotlight. Okay, one of them is obviously Gianfranco Ferre. The other one is Oscar de la Renta, and the third one is Nicola Trussard. Unfortunately, none of them is with us anymore, but their work and their art will, shine eternally. And Gianfranco Ferre is a very special one because he had a tremendous style, a tremendous Italian impact onto anything he touched, including fragrances. Okay, now he started his business in the early 70s, went into fashion in 78, and then continued haute couture in the mid 80s, and then was actually invited and signed by the House of Dior in 1989 to be the stylistic director for Dior, which he did parallel with his own brand. So he was flying back and forth between Milan and Paris all the time between 89 and 70 and 97, sorry. So for basically 8 years, right, he did that. And afterwards, he only concentrated on his own brand, Gianfranco Ferre, okay? And as I say, fragrances, okay? And his fragrances, let's start. Let's take a look. The first male fragrance that I've used from the house of Gianfranco Ferre, and I think it's the first male fragrance that he has actually launched, is this one, Gianfranco Ferre for Men. Okay, simple, straightforward, huge bottle, 125 ml bottle. And this fragrance smells exactly, it's so Italian, it smells like the La cucina della mamma or La cucina della nonna. Si entra la cucina della nonna, and then you open up the cupboard, okay, you enter the typical kitchen of the Italian grandma or mother. You enter, you open the cupboard, and you smell all these fresh herbs and spices and stuff. This is how this smells, okay? It's a very much 80s fragrance, yet it has the typical Italian Gianfranco Ferre touch to it. Totally classy and just so Italian, and it's hard to beat, okay? This continued at this stage. The year was 1986, if I remember well. If we go ahead to the new millennium, actually, 1999, 2000, I think the year of launch was 2000, Pontacho 21, the address of Ferre in Milan, as far as I know. Pontacho 21, Pontacho 21 is a very sophisticated, again, fresh, spicy, very formal, very elegant fragrance. And I have put this out for sale, this very bottle, recently, and I hereby have sad news: I reject that, okay? And I do so because this fragrance is just simply too good to be sold. So I'm going to be very selfish, and I use it myself. I don't have a backup bottle of this, so I want to enjoy it myself, okay? So it's not up for sale anymore. I'm so sorry, but the good news is that I can conduct a thorough review of this fragrance, and I will do so shortly, okay, for you to have an idea about Pontacho 21. Many people compare it to the original Aramis. Well, again, every comparison has some element of truth to it, but I'd rather say that this is a standalone fragrance and a total piece of art and a great example of Gianfranco Ferre's Italian touch to a fragrance, okay? Pontacho 21. Then we go ahead, and the last release in his lifetime, male fragrance release of his lifetime. He died in June 2007, only 62 years old. I think it was a heart attack. I think it was a very, very significant time at the time when he passed away. A big part of Italian fashion and Italian tradition and culture went away with him, just like it did with Gianni Versace. But obviously, as I say, through his art and through everything that he created, Gianfranco Ferre will live on, and he does. Like, the brand definitely lives on, and it does do very well, and very much true to the founder. 2006, however, saw this fragrance come out. I'm missing the cap. Ferre Man, okay, and wow, this fragrance. First of all, it holds one of the nicest oak mosses I've ever come across, and again, it's so elegant, so nice. Again, it's referring, sometimes what I see with Ferre is that he's not necessarily a trendsetter. He is a trend fine-tuner. Okay, that's why I call somebody who is aware of what's going on in the world of fashion, takes it and fine-tunes it and adds his own fingerprint onto it. That's what Ferre has done, in my opinion, at least in regards to fragrances. So each fragrance resembles the fashion of the time and the taste of the time, but it has a special Ferre touch, and it fine-tunes the theme. Okay, so this one is a floral, powdery, oak mossy, stunning beauty with all Ferre's fragrances. It's a formal thing. You have to have. I'm not saying it's a suit and a tie fragrance, but at least it's not a tracksuit fragrance. Put it that way, okay? Nothing for the tracksuit guys. Those guys stick to Invictus, Aventus, and all the rest. Okay, so this is for somebody who has his own style and is aware of what clothing to pair with what. Okay, Gianfranco Ferre. Actually, here we don't see the name of Gianfranco, or maybe it's on the box. Ferre for Man, 2006. And last but not least, I rarely review modern fragrances. Okay, but when I saw this one, I thought, well, Gianfranco Ferre, an interesting name, at least I mean the fragrance. Okay, Fougère Italiano, an interesting name. Because it triggers something that is very Ferre to me. The fact that they decided last year to create a fragrance, a Gianfranco Ferre fragrance, is always a difficult task, because obviously the man is not around anymore. So you have to, when you create something, you have to make it, its quality to live up to the name. Okay. And the fragrance name itself, Fougère Italiano, to me it was very appealing. Okay, I love Fougère fragrances and Italiano, and Ferre. Wow, this must be something. So I had high expectations, but then I saw the very low price tag. Okay, I said, okay, what is this? Is this some copy of something? Did the Maison Ferre lower its standards? Good news, it did not. It did not. It did absolutely not, because this fragrance is. I reviewed. This recently. This is an absolutely stunning, fresh, floral, woody musk fragrance. Okay, one of the nicest musks I've ever come across, and very brave to release a musk like this in 2020. Okay, absolutely beautiful, and from the price versus quality is unbeatable. So I think Gianfranco Ferre would look down and say, "Yeah, well done, huh?" Because Fougère Italiano from the house of Gianfranco Ferre is a very, very worthy follow-up to anything that he has created during his lifetime. There are many more Gianfranco Ferre fragrances out there. These are my favorite four, okay? That's why I own them, and that's why I use them. And my current love is this one, and the next one I'm going to be reviewing is the Pontacho, okay? So I can say that I'm a great fan of Gianfranco Ferre and his work and his style and his true Italianness. If you talk to any Italian, of course, everybody knows the Versace and Prada and Valentino, but somehow Gianfranco Ferre, if you mention the name Gianfranco Ferre with somebody who's familiar with Italian fashion, you will get immediate respect. You will see the people react. Yeah, well, yes, Gianfranco Ferre, like, a statement of quality, a statement of true Italian genuine style. Viva Gianfranco Ferre eternally. Grazie per la vostra attenzione. Ciao, ci vediamo.